What's up, people? Mic check 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Let me do this mic check. Well, there we have it. What's up? Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah. If you're getting off work, hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? So of course you can see the girls are fighting. Okay, the girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. That's the only thing I can tell you that the girls are fighting. Okay. Let me make sure everything is up to par over here. It seems like it is. Hold on 1 second. Let me do like a little mic check before we get started so I can make sure we ain't too loud or we ain't too low. Hold on. Okay, so we good to go. So let's jump right into this. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? As you can see, the girls are fighting. We're going to jump right into this. Now, listen, this is going to be a little bit of news for everybody else. So we got James on the list. We got Chud on the list. We got Trump on the list. And we got Candace and Nick Shirley, not Fuentes. Nick, everybody, they scrapping. So let's jump into who we're gonna do first. Who we're gonna do first? Let's do James. Let's do James. Let's do James. This is James Charles. That's from what I understand who he is. I didn't know who James Charles was. But James Charles is supposedly a makeup artist. You know, he came into fruition. I don't know when. I don't know how. However, in news, what happened to have you is James Charles has been under scrutiny because a lady that got let go from Spirit Airlines. You know, Spirit Airlines dropped out the sky, out the blue. They shut down plane rides. The staff, they ain't tell nobody. We found out before the staff did. So James Charles, one of the ladies reached out to James Charles and asked him for assistance. Now, I know James has deleted the videos from what I understand. I think he's been deleting like the past videos or whatever. But let's go over this part. So this is like the beginning. So we're going to start and it's going to go through that. Then the one that was deleted back to that. And then it's going to lead us into what the streets are saying. All right. So let's go over this whole situation with James Charles. James. You're James. All right, let's go.
I just got a DM on here from a girl that said, "Good morning, James. I know you'll probably never see this, but if you could just take 1 minute to read it, would really mean a lot to me. I'm really struggling right now because Spirit Airlines just filed for bankruptcy and I have lost my job. Here's a GoFundMe link. Any donations help." I'm sure they do, sweetheart. I'm sure they do. You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Yeah, try that. Because in the time that it took you to copy and paste the same fuck-ass message to myself, who you don't follow, by the way, and probably 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied for 100 other jobs, but you didn't because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled. And you think that influencers and celebrities should fund your life for you. Why would I ever help you? You're not a fan. You don't even follow me. You've never supported me. This is your first time DMing. And you think that I'm gonna send you money because you lost your job? Oh my God, welcome to the real world, sweetheart. People lose their jobs every fucking day and you're white, pretty, and able-bodied. You're in a much better position than a lot of other people out here who are trying clearly much harder to make a better life for themselves. Why would I fucking help you? Aside from that, 17,000 people lost their jobs at Spirit Airlines. Why do you think you need the GoFundMe? I can at least like 1% respect the mentality of closed mouths don't get fed, doesn't hurt to try. But honestly, it does hurt to try because now you pissed me off, okay? I'm not the one. Go find fucking Mr. Reese. This is literally his entire shtick. I'm sure the next YouTube video is literally gonna be like, I rehired all 17,000 of the Spirit Airlines employees and it's gonna be the real life Hunger Games. The last one of them to leave the Spirit Airlines plane gets to be the CEO of the new company and gets a house and a car and $10 million that everybody else dies. Like, go find that video to compete in, baby. I'm not helping you. I'm not fucking helping you. All you did was lost your job, okay? Welcome to the real world. I can at least understand if you were like, James, I'm a longtime fan. Here's a trillion years of DMs and my support for you. I love you. I'm suffering with a really rare genetic disease that there is no cure for, and I'm trying to raise money for myself and other people that have this. Maybe I would help. Maybe I would help because I love you and I appreciate you. This bitch, you lost your fucking job? Oh. What are we gonna do? Nothing! I'm gonna do nothing. You know what you need to do? Go find a fucking new one, girl. Put some effort into the workplace.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I stand behind what I said 10 toes down. The reason I made that video yesterday, though, was a lot of people these days do not.
Now, mind you, while we're going through this, okay, just a little bit of reminder. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. That's my brother told me to say. He say he like and subscribe. Okay, we'll say that. Listen, the problem I got with this is that I think James Charles, if I'm correct, he comes on social media and his audience pays him, right? So I don't know, but he deleted a lot of different stuff like this right here. So this is because he doubled down, then he bagged up. I mean, he was like taking the load. He was taking somewhere. Then he bagged up. So this is him, the other deleted scene.
Have to make it work mentality. They have no desire to actually put in the effort to try to fix a problem and get themselves out of a situation.
After James Charles deleted this viral video of a Spirit Airline employee who lost her job asking for him for money, he made this follow-up part 2 video the next morning, which he also apparently just deleted. If you haven't seen it, here it is in its entirety.
So I ended up deleting the video that I posted yesterday talking about people who send me GoFundMe links that have never followed, supported, DM me before, just begging for money. And most people were like enjoying the video, saying it was a valid point, but it definitely started causing some discourse in the comments. And a lot of people were just saying it was out of touch and insensitive. And they're right. It was definitely a harsh choice of words, maybe not my best video. And I deleted it, but of course the internet is forever. And now a lot of content creators are using like the 5-second clip in the very beginning where I'm like, you're a lazy piece of shit, get a new job, to upload their cute little think pieces being like, influencers are all so out of touch. This is so disgusting. You don't know how hard it is in the job market these days. Oh my God, give me a fucking break. I am out of touch, first and foremost. Okay, I am never going to be one of those influencers that gets online and pretends to be poor so I can come across as relatable to my audience. I think it's tacky. I think it's annoying, and I also think it's quite insulting to the audience watching.
No, you're
as
insulting.
if you guys are going to be fooled into thinking that. You've been watching me for 10 years now. It's no secret that I have been able to find success doing what I've done. It didn't start that way though. I started from literally nothing and had a dream for myself and was determined to literally do anything to make it happen. And luckily, I've been blessed to be able to do that and now call this my full-time job. The reason I made that video yesterday though was a lot of people these days do not have the make it work mentality. They have no desire to actually put in the effort to try to fix a problem and get themselves out of a situation. They immediately result in asking for help. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help. In my personal opinion though, it should be a last resort. If you disagree, that's totally fine. That's your personal opinion. I'm not going to apologize for having mine. There's a lot of people responding back to the video being like, oh my gosh, he has no idea how hard the job market is. I've been applying for new jobs for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years now, and I've literally heard back nothing from any of the jobs. I'm sorry that that is happening to people. I know that the job market fucking sucks. I've heard so many horror stories. I can't even imagine what that's like. Those are the people, in my opinion, that are totally valid and asking for help. The person that I made the video about yesterday lost their job last week at Spirit Airlines, along with 17,000 other people. And granted, I don't know this person. Maybe making a GoFundMe link was really their last resort. I just personally do not believe that to be the case because I know for a fact that they sent this same exact DM to hundreds of different influencers and celebrities. This person did not follow me. They have never DM'd me previously. They have never supported me on any social platforms. They have never purchased from Painted. This person was literally just spam copying and pasting this DM to.
I think the problem with this, James, is this. The problem with this is, James, is that you had a few options, James. You had a few options. Your option one was to scroll past it. One. Option two was for you to just mind your damn business. Option 3 was for you to have a heart and maybe share it or donate $50 or $100 or whatever, because you sitting on the privilege that you sit on right there. You don't know what a person's last options are. So really, in a way, you chose the option of going to embarrass somebody, try to make yourself look bigger and better for who you want to be. And that was just, you know what I'm saying? That's just downgrading. You know what I'm saying? Like you stupid.
Every person that they assumed had money to offer them. And I'm sorry, just because somebody has money does not mean that you're entitled. I'm sorry if that comes across as insensitive or privileged or mean, but welcome to the real world. It's fucking hard out there. Nobody owes anybody anything. The universe will constantly remind you of that. And a little bit of effort goes a really, really long way sometimes. I stand behind what I said, 10 toes down. Instead of spending an hour copying and pasting the same DM to 100 different celebrities or influencers, you could have spent the same amount of time copying and pasting a job application to hundreds of different companies. Or, hear me out, put in a little bit of effort. If you want to send the DMs, at least spend 20 seconds before you hit send customizing it to the person that you're asking for money from, right? Hi, sister. James, I've been watching your YouTube videos since I was a teenager. You really taught me how to do makeup and have positively impacted my life every single Friday. Hey, I'm in this shitty situation. Do you think that you could help? Probably would have gone a lot further than a generic message. Or instead of copy and pasting the same job application to hundreds of different companies, send in 10 job applications to companies that you really care about and you think you could fit in with, and then customize your application and your cover
Such
letter,
a whiny
letting these
ass
recruiters
baby,
or
bro.
hiring
Moving forward.
move on with my day. But
So
instead,
now he's
rude, it
backtracking.
was obnoxious. She spent copying and pasting the message, applying for jobs instead. This video was fucking stupid. It was rude, it was obnoxious, it was privileged, and most importantly, it was
Now we
completely
backtracking.
fucking unnecessary. When I saw that DM, I absolutely had the choice to ignore it and say absolutely nothing at all and move on with my day. But instead, I couldn't even tell you why. Her message just triggered me, and I decided instead to make a video about it. And I bashed her, and it was obnoxious, and I shamed her for asking for help in a situation where she was clearly really struggling, and this could have been her absolute last resort. I have no idea what was going on in her life, and I should have never assumed that she was just copying and pasting this DM as an easy way out. I don't know. I just don't know. My intention behind making this video in the first place was I get a lot of messages like this every single day. And for me personally, it definitely sucks to receive messages from people that don't follow you and don't support you, treating you like our personal ATM or bank account. But what I'm sure sucks even fucking more is not knowing where your next paycheck is coming from and not being sure whether or not you're going to be able to put food on the table for yourself
James,
and your
you're
family.
rich.
So it really doesn't matter what my intentions were behind making the video, because it came across as super fucking privileged and like I was basically shaming anybody that's unemployed for not trying hard enough to get a job. And I feel awful because that wasn't my intention, and it really hurt a lot of people. And I know that it's not that easy. I know that the job market fucking sucks right now. I have friends that are looking for jobs. I have my own employees that I try my best to take care of. And I've heard so many fucking horror stories online of companies ghosting people, recruiters wasting everybody's time, people applying for job after job and not hearing back for 6 months, a year, 2 years. I know that it's really fucking hard out there, and that most people are just doing their best and trying their best to figure it out and to make it by.
Right.
And if this person happened to choose sending out GoFundMe links as their method of trying to make it by, who am I to judge? Especially when you consider the fact that my method of figuring it out and getting by was making makeup videos online. I just happened to get really lucky, and now, years later, I'm in a blessed and privileged position. But as somebody with a platform, it's my responsibility to humble myself and to never take what I have for granted. And when I made that video today, that is exactly what I did. I was speaking from a very privileged, obnoxious, ignorant standpoint. And for anybody that saw that video and was disappointed or upset with what I said, I am super sorry, especially to the woman from Spirit Airlines. I did try to look for her message earlier before making this video, and I couldn't find it. If you see this video and you want to get in touch, I would love to apologize to you directly and to help you out a little bit. But if you are not comfortable with that, I totally understand too. I really
listen to the lady whoever sent that message, baby. There's your blessing right there. There's your blessing right there. He feel guilty. The people that ate him up. He said, reach back out. Reach back out.
I appreciate anybody that sent me a message or left a comment about this video today, letting me know how insensitive it was. I really needed to hear that, and I really need to think twice before I hit record and just start yapping on this account.
Okay, James.
I genuinely treat this spam page like I'm on FaceTime with you guys. I love to laugh and tell you stories and rant and scream at the camera and joke around with y'all, but sometimes I genuinely forget how many people are watching, and it was completely inappropriate to make a joke out of somebody just trying to provide for themselves and their family. That's definitely my bad.
Imagine getting on live and constantly begging regular ass people to buy your makeup, and then turning around when one of those same regular ass people DMs you and says, "Hey, I lost my job, anything helps." And instead of ignoring the DM like most people would, you decide to publicly clown them and then post it thinking the regular ass people that follow you are gonna agree. Especially coming from someone whose entire career is funded by those same regular ass people.
So I'm a little bit confused because I know James Charles is in headlines right now because he gave a rant related to a former Spirit Airlines employee or something. What I'm not understanding though is that this man was literally caught like texting people underage like multiple times. I also have like numerous secondhand, I won't say firsthand, but numerous secondhand stories from people I'm like good friends with who he's been extremely weird with. And by extremely weird, I mean like exactly what you're thinking. I know during the pandemic and even before that, he was making a ton of money doing the makeup stuff. But what I'm not understanding is maybe the redeemable part. I'm just like, what is he? Is the makeup? Is it the makeup that's like the most redeemable part? Because I'm like, anybody else, for the most part, hopefully gets like reasonably canceled when they get caught talking to children. Just look at Noah Beck's sister. And it seems like people just like every couple years forget, and then he issues like some public apology. And I'm a little
maybe I'm a little behind. What did you say?
Little confused by it all. Truthfully, I don't get it.
Wow.
This latest James Charles controversy is not a mistake. It's just his true colors showing, if you ask me. And especially an influencer as big as him, he knew better before he posted that video eviscerating that laid-off Spirit Airlines employee. He could have just as easily ignored the message or even messaged them back privately. But no, had to go and almost punish them for reaching out. And for him to say, oh, yeah, just get another job, that'd help. How detached are you from reality? I mean, in this economy, it's not as easy as just getting another job.
Right.
I am a micro-influencer, and I would never even think to punch down at somebody who lost their job through no fault of their own. But not him. It's obvious he's never even had a W-2 job, and social media has been his only thing. Because otherwise he would have realized this, the difficulty in it.
He said a W-2 job.
It's as though he thinks, oh, because I've succeeded and done well at this, everybody else who hasn't is just a lazy dum-dum, and they're the reason they don't have a job anymore. Nothing to do with anybody else or any other circumstances outside of their own. These influencers, sometimes they just get so big that they really do not understand what it is like to be a normal person anymore.
No, they don't.
And this is a classic example of that. Just spouting off what comes to their mind, what is in their heart, and it's ugly. It's real ugly. So my question is, why are people still following him? Not just this controversy, but the multiple ones before this, especially the ones
I didn't know
involving
that. Thank you, sir.
Underage boys who have come forward and say, yeah, he was sexually
we gon' James. Ooh-wee. James. Bad decision. All right. Wow. You just never know. You just never know. Well, and then he be, I don't know, it's some weird stuff. I ain't gonna go into that, but that's just what it is for what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave it where it's at. I'm gonna leave it where the hell is it. So, let's go over here. Let's go and get them in. Let's go and get them in. Okay, so y'all, y'all know these two people. Okay, so next story is this. This is just kind of like what's been going on. So, Nick Shirley has been in news. Nick Shirley broke the whole thing when it came to the whole thing about the fraud going on in Minnesota. A lot of people, watched the video. It went viral to the point where you had the White House reaching out, and now he's tied up in all the government. He made a lot of people mad. I think it's a lot of right and wrong there. However, they got a bill. The Democrats made a bill in California to make Nick Shirley not be able to investigate. So that just became a whole another thing, right? So, it looked like with the girls are fighting, him and Candace had like a little bit of whatever. So Nick ended up going over to Cuba. Now, no shade or whatever, it did seem kind of strange for Nick to be over in Cuba and like trying to investigate stuff in Cuba. Cause I'm like, Nick, when you just like, when you at Minnesota like last week? So now we're at Nick being over, on Cuba. So some people didn't believe it, surprisingly. And some people did. It became this thing. So the other day, yesterday, I think, I was watching Candace, yesterday. Man, Candace be funny sometimes. I don't, ever since Laura Loomer read her, Candace is like one of those cockroaches, baby. You ain't gonna never get rid of her, okay? She is gonna keep on producing. So I commend her for keep going. But Candace actually replied to Nick. And the stuff that she was saying, I get it. But I want you to hear what Candace's reply was yesterday a little bit. And then we'll kind of go over this, all right? So
Okay, so I have been trying to stress to you that we are kind of barreling toward a society of make-believe. It's very scary. Actually, if you just pause for a second and consider it, it's very strange that they're trying to see if they can sort of force us to believe things that are just not so. And they become angry and they become insistent and they spend more money and they're just getting influencers that go out there and I felt this way, by the way, when the transgender thing was happening. I was very vocal against this. It's like there's a difference between a woman and a man, and they just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And it's like you can, wear the clothes that you want to wear and feel how you feel, but there is such a thing as reality, okay? And now we've moved away from that becoming a social issue, and it was always, obviously political, but we're starting to see this in politics. We're starting to see them. And that, of course, is the example with Dr. Kirk and her entire background, which makes no sense, where the entire world notices that this is what the Erica Kirk story feels like. It feels to me, if you're a conservative, like it felt when we were going through the transgenderism argument, where we all know that this is not right. So maybe some people are pretending to be nice. It's actually a perfect analogy here. A lot of people who I know who initially were like, yeah, let's support transgenderism. It's not because they believed it. They just were like, it's just nice. It's the nice thing to do, right? I would say a lot of lefties found themselves in that category. That person feels that way, let them feel that way. And it's the same thing with the Erica Kirk story where they're just ignoring the facts. They're ignoring all the lies. And they're just like, well, it's just nice because her husband died that we shouldn't even consider whether or not she's lying about things or whether or not she's helping to cover up certain things that would help us solve the mystery of how her husband died. And she's not acting right. She's not acting like a grieving widow. I'm going to give you another example of this, like recently. This Nick Shirley guy, this thing that is going on, okay? It's now getting weird enough that I do feel the need to comment and weigh in. I didn't even know that this was a beef that I accidentally stumbled upon, that people were saying like the term that they use here is fed jacketed. Like essentially he's being created by the media. There are a lot of people that are like that. I would say Bari Weiss is a perfect example. Like we all know she's not qualified to be an executive at CBS. They just don't care. They're just, there you go, Bari Weiss. And this Nick Shirley thing is one of the weirdest non-beefs that I have ever had. So I'm going to back up here and say I did not follow at all the quote unquote rise of Nick Shirley. He's 24 years old. It was, if I recall, like very quickly after the Charlie Kirk assassination. He was sort of introduced first on the Charlie Kirk show on the day he died. Remember, we covered that. That's the reason I covered him on the show on September 10th when I was trying to work through timelines and I made a mistake. And I completely owned that mistake and had a conversation with him. Right after the Charlie Kirk assassination, suddenly I was not emotionally available to look at other topics, to cover other topics. I was not interested in other trends. And suddenly we have this kid, 23 years old, I think he was last year. And they say Nick Shirley has uncovered massive welfare fraud in the Somalian community in Minnesota. Okay, a friend of mine just got shot in the neck. Don't really care to follow the story. Daycare fraud. Great, thumbs up. Did not peek beyond that at all. I want to be perfectly clear here. I did not watch or read even 1 minute of what he uncovered. So color me completely ignorant of the welfare fraud story in Somalia. Just being honest with you, I didn't have it in me then, and I just truly did not care. Okay. So then fast forward to me mentioning Nick Shirley on the show, and I was like, okay, who is this guy? And I was quite stunned that there was this video out there of him saying that he infiltrated the most dangerous gang in Brazil in 48 hours. Like, that's so objectively stupid and ignorant. You have to be so ignorant to even believe it. That should just be a headline that your brain automatically rejects, right? A 23-year-old kid, absent any connections, infiltrated a gang in 48 hours is like they are trying you right now. They're not even trying to give us like good slop anymore. Like we're beneath the level of Fed slop with this, right? It's just stupid. It's nothing personal, Nick Shirley. It's just dumb when you hear it, that a person infiltrate a 23-year-old kid, and I did say a white boy for a reason, which I will explain, infiltrated the most dangerous gang in Brazil by himself with cameras. Okay. Anyway, Nick Shirley, after I said this on my show, the next day it was like trending, and all of these people, the people I trust the least, by the way, I mean, like Tim Pool, everyone's like writing these statements like Nick Shirley got punched in the face by me, because I'm not an idiot. I don't have to look deeper into that story. It's obviously objectively on its face untrue and made up. I don't know if it's for entertainment. I don't know if it's for funsies. I don't know the purpose of making up something like that. I've just lived a little bit of life and know that that's not how it works. And so PBD, who has just been sort of taking swipes at me for like since Charlie Kirk died, you know, he notoriously hosted the person who said, I didn't speak to Charlie since, 2019. We hadn't spoken. We were at war with each other, whatever. I don't care. It's just add it to the pile of people who are constantly just making little snide comments on me. But Nick PBD, who was one of the people who issued a kind statement about Nick Shirley because, gasp, Candace doesn't believe that he infiltrated a gang in 48 hours, hosted him on his show. And they show the clip of what I said, and PBD's pretending he had no idea. He completely already knew I said this. Even the whole little scene you're going to watch between them is just so contrived. It just bothers me on a level of, why do we have to live in this soap opera? Why are we all sim characters? Who is pulling the strings? Anyway, I want you to listen to this conversation that they have.
Who in the market is supporting you? Who in the market is criticizing you that you're surprised on the conservative side? Are there people who are like, Nick, go, you're doing great? And then there's people that are like, yeah, I don't know if I like what he's doing.
Candance Owens came after me.
He sounded excited, Candace.
That was very interesting.
Why would Candance Owens come after you?
I don't know. She didn't believe my Brazilian favela video, and
it's not even so you're talking. This is a couple years ago.
No, this is like recent. She's like, white boy. I'm like, it was very snarky of her to do this.
Interesting. This is it?
Yeah.
But which video is
stupid.
that? Is that a recent video?
From last summer.
I'm just going to say I don't believe that at all. I'm sorry. I just, it's so stupid. I'm not even going to tell you why I don't believe it. It's like, if you don't know that that's stupid, that he infiltrated the gang in 48 hours. That's so dumb. I'm so tired of dumb. That's not how that works, okay? You don't just go up to gangs on the street as a nice-looking white boy with the camera and say, hey, I just wanted to sort of see what you're doing here. What's going on? Okay, just stop. That's stupid. Of course, that's dumb.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Nick. I know you're young. I hope, whoever is your contact that has you infiltrating Antifa and infiltrating El Salvador at the age of 23 years old. It just feels like Sean Penn young to me.
Meaning
Like-
your handler or you're representing somebody?
Like, she's basically saying that's fake.
She's saying
Yeah.
that's fake.
And I'm like, well, maybe if
Yep.
these podcasters would actually leave their podcast studios. No offense, Pat.
Now, do I believe that? I don't know, because I really didn't get to watch the thing with Nick in Cuba or whatever. But stick around. I have a very much of a delight for you because other people did.
If they leave their podcast studios and go and like do journalism, like they'd actually see like stuff just sometimes just happens.
It was that last part that really sent me because it's just so LOL. And then this whole like, oh, why don't you try to do real journalism and like leave your basement from podcasting? Alex Clark kind of backed this up too because like she can't miss an opportunity. Turning Point can't miss an opportunity because I think I took from them what they believe is rightfully theirs. But she wrote this: Nick Shirley is a real journalist. Candance Owens is not. Oh, okay. So we're in a podcast. We're in the basement. Hey, Nick. So the reason why we know that doesn't make sense actually is because you have to be the most sheltered person in the world to even have to need it to be explained to you why that's not plausible. Okay. It's not a job. Okay. People just live in these scenarios. People like literally, I have 5-year-olds in my family who have seen more and lived through more than you've probably ever lived through in your life. The circumstance itself did not happen. And I cannot tell you how much it frustrates me that you're pretending that I'm coming from a position of privilege. 5-year-olds in my family who have seen more and lived through more than you've probably ever lived through in your life. The circumstance itself did not happen. And I cannot tell you how much it frustrates me that you're pretending that I'm coming from a position of privilege when it's actually the exact opposite. You couldn't do this in Chicago. You couldn't do this in Detroit. Forget in a favela in Brazil. Places like that, which I have Brazilians in my family, you don't even go to parts in Brazil without having someone who is from that place and from that neighborhood. So no, it's not about podcasting in my basement. I actually lived a lot of life, Nick Shirley, before I got to podcasting in my basement, before I was married, before I had children. In fact, I moved down to South America for 2 months to learn Spanish with very strict instructions. The school that I enrolled in, don't wear any jewelry, don't wear any makeup, don't look American. You don't just go down there.
So as you can see for yourself, Candace, hold on, y'all. I forgot. I'm trying to think. So as you can see for yourself, Candace, has this. Hey, they own it. So, as doing research for today's thing or whatever. It's what we're doing right now. Let's go. Hold on. Let's go to find this. All right. So check out. So I went over to the Talk Streaks, right? Over there to go see what was going on over there. So people have stuff to say about Nick over there.
So Nick Shirley went to Cuba and
Bad.
did what
Let's
he
go.
does best. He pretended to be a journalist by sharing stories that only the most gullible will believe. Oh, and in doing so, he may have violated federal law. Because according to reports, Nick stayed at a hotel called the Hotel Nacional de Cuba that you see behind me, but the problem is that the hotel is on the Department of State's Cuba Prohibited Accommodation List, or CPAL, which is a fairly extensive list of hotels in Cuba that U.S. citizens are not allowed to lodge at. And that list is not a suggestion because it stems from this memorandum, which was authorized by President Trump in 2025. In other words, even if you're allowed to travel to Cuba, the federal government has a list of businesses you cannot give your money to and hotels you cannot stay at. And if you do, then you're violating federal law. Of course, it's possible that Nick Shirley didn't stay at that hotel, but if he did, then Nick might be in trouble. Probably not in trouble with the current administration, but the statute of limitation for this conduct is 5 years. So you do the math. Oh, and what's the penalty, you ask? If Nick didn't know the hotel was off limits, it's only a civil infraction, punishable with a fine of up to $356,000. But if he knew, then it becomes criminal conduct, and that's punishable with a fine of up to $1 million, or up to 20 years in prison, or both. I gotta say, I find it fascinating that a person who spends most of his time complaining about foreigners coming into our country to break the law is now being applauded by other people who spend their time complaining about foreigners coming into our country to break the law for going into another country as a foreigner and breaking the law. But then again, we're talking about a group of people that's not famous for common sense.
So Nick Shirley, the right-wing influencer, says that he's being held hostage in a hotel in Cuba. Well, guess what? We found the hotel. It's right here, Hotel Nacional. And it's actually illegal for him to be at this hotel, but not illegal under Cuban law. It's illegal under US law. Let me show you how we know it's a hotel. All right, if you look at the tweet and the video that he posted, that's the room he's staying in, pretty much, right? Red curtains. This is the Hotel Nacional website. You can pretty much you can't stay in this hotel legally as a US citizen according to US law. The Cubans welcome you here, but the US does not want you staying at this hotel or pretty much any other hotel all over Cuba. There is such a thing as there is something called the Cuba Prohibited Accommodations List. Here it is right here, Cuba Prohibited Accommodations List. Below is the US Department of State's Cuba Prohibited Accommodations List, a list of properties in Cuba at which the Cuban assets control regulations generally prohibit persons subject to US jurisdiction from lodging, paying for lodging, or making any reservation for or on behalf of a third party to lodge. It's not just this hotel either. Look at all the hotels. I mean, dozens upon dozens, pretty much every hotel in Cuba. We just went in the lobby. Things are calm. There's no security. Everyone, this seems like a normal day like any other. We're not even, my guess is Shirley's not even here anymore. And there's really no evidence. There's no reason to believe that he would be in any risk at all here in Cuba. There's no US journalist or influencer in jail in Cuba. I've been here for 6-7 years. I've never heard of that occurring. But Shirley would be at risk in the United States because he's violating US law. Chances are nothing will happen to him because he, from what I know, is very friendly with the current administration. If somebody else were to stay here, they might be in trouble. That's why I never stay here.
Nick Shirley, in my opinion, pretending to be kidnapped in Cuba will be the funniest thing you've seen all day. Roll the clip.
Long story short, we had Cuban intelligence following us all around in our one day here in Cuba, and now we have made it out. We're heading to the airport right now. If this video gets posted, it means that we made it back to the United States. It's been the most crazy 24 hours of my life.
What was he thinking? So he wanted to go to Cuba because he wanted to talk to the Cubans about communism. Cuba is in an economic downfall because they're no longer getting fuel from Venezuela. So they are basically in a blackout right now. No power. Everything is falling apart in Cuba. And Nick here thought it was a good idea to go down there and talk to the Cubans about communism. So now they might kidnap him, he's saying. Oh well. Oh well, Nick. Let's just say it wasn't one of your brightest ideas. So now Nick has made it to his hotel. Notice there's power at this hotel, which kind of makes me question a couple things. Cuba has no power. How is there power here? Well, maybe it's a generator. I don't know. But let's see what Nick has to say now that he's made it at his hotel. Let's listen.
Anyways, we're filming this video, and when we're next to the hospital, we see undercover cop roll up on us, and my security guards that are with me, they detected him, and then all of a sudden there's another one. So we hopped back in another taxi, we left the scene, and we thought we were good. They didn't tell us, and we left. But since we left the airport, we had been getting tailed, or the word had gotten out that there was a journalist inside of Cuba. There's only 2 flights that come in here every single day. So it wasn't hard to spot out who the journalist was, and that's what my tourist visa said. That's what my visa said. It said for journalistic activities.
You just said journalistic activities.
So you can come here. There's 12 categories in which you can come, and journalist activities is one of those. So therefore, that is why I came. And right now, it is currently 9:30, and we have Cuban intelligence down in the lobby of the hotel right now, working to essentially try to round us up and potentially imprison us or make it so we cannot leave Cuba.
I don't know, Nick. maybe it wasn't a great idea to use your journalistic activities in Cuba. And now you're scared you might get kidnapped. Oh well, this kid is as sharp as a balloon. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. Well, we know what your side says, Nick. Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I'm sure you're gonna figure it out. Guys, tell me what you think about Nick here in the comments. And if you haven't followed me yet, please do. Have a day!
So, lobotomy victim Nick Shirley was in Cuba recently, where he said Cuban spies were trying to round him up and hold him hostage. And the situation was so desperate that he had to stop and make a 13-minute video about it before escaping.
We're about a mile and a half away from the U.S. Embassy right now, which could be our possible way out of this situation by going to the embassy. However, that does not stop Cubans from stopping us before we get to the embassy. It's about a mile and a half away, so we have to make it to the embassy. Right now there's 3 essentially Cuban spies down at the bottom of our hotel right now.
I genuinely do not understand how this kid made it past the 3rd grade. Brother, how are they Cuban spies if they're Cuban people in Cuba? You're the one in their country. A Cuban spy would be someone who comes to America to gather intelligence. And of course, nobody took him hostage. He's back in America now, safe and sound. Like, bro, they were never gonna capture you there. If anything, they were just gonna deport you back to America, which you should love. Don't you love deportations? You're in their country advocating openly for the overthrow of their government. If there was some Somali guy in America saying that Trump should be overthrown, I guarantee you would want him deported.
And then right now you have Trump even saying that he might have the pleasure of taking Cuba. And Marco Rubio, obviously, he has even said openly that he doesn't think a regime change would be bad, which it wouldn't. Look what's happening right now because of communism.
Oh my god, he almost said Marco Cubio. That would have been hilarious. And what's wild to me is that here he says Cuba's struggles are because of communism, but earlier in the video, he admits that it's because of the US embargo.
Right now, there's a big problem taking place here in Cuba, the largest humanitarian crisis they've had in maybe 50 years. And there's no oil or gas due to the blockade after Trump and the United States took over and captured Maduro. So Venezuela is no longer supporting Cuba with any oil or gas. And that also affects everything that they have, essentially, between whether it be the food or from it being the light and the power shortages here, or just the gas alone. You have no power here, essentially, because the United States and Cuba, they do not like each other. There's been an embargo since the 1960s here, where...
All right, so there you have it. You know, do the people think that Nick did his thing? I don't know, but there you go. All I can do is just deliver what I see. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing my part over here. Tanks Talk TV 1 and giving you the raw, honest, and trying to be happy as news as I can. But however, let's get into this. Next story. The next story. Okay. So our president. This is our president. Dunny, Dwayne, Lee Wayne, Lee Office, Unfound Epstein Files, Trump. That's right. Laura Loomis, Sugar Daddy. Dunny Dwayne did something that, I mean, you know, I was telling my brother earlier, you know, we have a true thug in the White House. Trump is a thug. Okay? Trump a thug. I don't care what you say. This man is a straight up thug. Okay? Now let me tell you what he did. He pulled a reverse on people, whatever, you know. So if you don't know, Trump had, this is what we're finna go check out. Trump had got, I guess right before election or whatever time, he was doing Trump phones, right? So while Trump was doing Trump phones, people was really ordering these phones. And it was upsetting to a lot of different people, but you know, that's what Trump was doing. He was having the phone thing, whatever. So people are on the talk streets over there really going in about this phone. So check this out.
Y'all, I'm gonna need you to sit down for this one, okay? 590,000 people. 590,000 people handed Donald Trump $100 each for a gold phone called the T1. A gold phone with a big T on the back. That's $59 million collected, gone. Think about what you could do with $59 million. Now here's where it gets good. And by good, I mean criminal, okay? The phones were supposed to ship in the late summer of 25, last year. Needless to say, they did not. Then they said January of 26. Nothing happened. Then radio silence. As of right now, not one confirmed customer has received a single device.
Wow.
But I bet you Trump and them kept that 59 million. And what happened when customers started asking for their money back? You want to guess?
What else?
Trump Mobile sent out emails saying, and I need you to hear this, the phones aren't coming and your deposit is non-refundable. But wait, it gets worse. It gets worse. They quietly updated their terms of service in April of 26, just last month. Just last month. And the new fine print says, and I'm reciting from memory, so bear with me. It says that paying a deposit does not constitute a completed purchase and does not create a binding legal contract. In other words, we took your money and we don't owe you squat. Nothing. Legally in writing, signed. And remember how they marketed it? Made in the USA. That was the whole pitch, right? Patriotic, American. Then supply chain experts started asking questions. And that language disappeared overnight, it seemed. And guess what they replaced it with? American proud design. Listen, listen, listen. I'm too old a cat to be fooled by a kitten. I know a rebrand when I see one. Now Congress has gotten involved. The FTC has been asked to investigate bait and switch tactics and false advertising, but that 59 million, baby, still gone. And here's what I need you to understand, okay? This is not just about a phone. This is a pattern, y'all. Predatory behavior dressed up in patriotism, targeting the very people that love him the most. Ain't that something else? He's always done this. Trump University, Trump Steaks, Trump Casinos. The man has been doing this his entire career. And his own reporters keep paying the price. So if you know someone who put down that deposit, I don't, but if you do, share this video because they need to know the truth, even when it hurts, especially if it hurts.
Hey, Trump supporter here. This goes out to Don Jr. and Eric. Where the f is my phones? I ordered 4 gold Trump phones in the summer. Now we can't get any f***ing updates on them.
He's not alone. A bunch of customers and MAGA fans are very angry to find that Donald Trump is breaking his word again. That Trump's family business has duped whatever fans it has left. This latest grift involves the Trump family's business failure to deliver promised Trump phones after getting down payments on them from a lot of customers. Now, how many people would actually like to buy a Trump gold phone at this juncture, say in the last year? Well, considering the past ripoffs and the fact that no major cell phones are actually produced in the U.S., so this seemed like a long shot, well, you might think not that many. But the answer is well over 500,000 people each paid a $100 deposit to get in on the planned and promised Trump phone. Not a single confirmed customer, though, has gotten one. This is a report from the IBT. Meanwhile, the website for the so-called Trump Mobile, which isn't very mobile, includes a disclaimer. A pre-order doesn't guarantee a device will be produced or made available for purchase. I mean, that is just out there. A pre-order means not a pre-order. We just hold your $100 and we might never make the phone. The so-called Trump phone was announced with a lot of fanfare by Trump's sons last year.
Today we're here to introduce Trump Mobile, making phones in America. It's about time we bring products back to our great country.
We're going to be having call centers for Trump Mobile in St. Louis, so we're keeping our data onshore.
We plan to build phones in America All of our customer support is in America. A lot of people are getting ripped off, to say the least, because they don't pay attention to their cell phone plans. So I think we can do it better.
People are getting ripped off. They're going to do a better job. They're actually doing no job because they haven't shipped any phones. The company's selling point was that this somewhat gilded device would be made in America. You heard that in some of those clips. Now they say it will be proudly American. I guess that's kind of how the phone identifies. It will be designed with American values in mind. Sure, whatever. But that's not how country of origin labeling works. If you're going to make something here or have it abroad, the mother of all tariffs president ought to know that. The phone reportedly now predominantly made in China. But again, that's if it's made. So far, the company now says, don't assume if you buy one or part of one that it'll ever be produced. So we don't know if it's ever going to be made or where.
Good morning. Take a look at this. This is the Trump phone rolled out by Donald Trump Jr. and his brother Eric Trump in 2025. 590,000 people put down a $100 deposit for a total of $59 million. The phone was supposed to be made in America using American components, which is impossible to do. No one has received their phone. Surprise, surprise. Guys, this stuff runs in their family. It also runs in the Republican Party. When are you guys going to wake up and realize these people, they don't care about you? $59 million, okay? Where is that money? The report in Yahoo Finance also says not one person has received the phone yet. All right, guys, call Eric and Donald Trump and say, hey, man, where is my phone? Call me. Guys, my name is Greg Perkins. This is the Egg Report. Everybody have an awesome day.
You really can't make up how dumb all of this is, how gullible his supporters are, how much this grift continues in every way possible. You remember last year when Donald Trump announced the T1 phone, the flagship Trump mobile phone. Never mind the crappy Photoshop job that looked like a ripoff of an iPhone. No, this was a gold standard, made in the USA, MAGA approved, American flag bedazzled, brand new phone. And all you had to do was put down $100. And what do you bet? 600,000 people decided to do exactly that, meaning they raised $60 million for a phone that doesn't appear is ever going to be produced at all. They kept moving the dates back, they kept moving the production back, they kept lying to the people that put the deposits down, saying the phone's right around the corner. And then they quietly switched from made in the USA to probably not made in the USA. In fact, it's actually definitely not going to be made in the USA. And also, last month in April, they changed the terms of service to now say, well, this isn't really a legally binding deposit. We're under no obligation to produce the phone. And now they're saying, well, if we never produce the phone, you're certainly, absolutely, without a doubt, going to get your money back for that deposit.
Last year, I put down a $100 deposit for the Trump phone, and I thought paying the deposit meant they would make the phone and then send it to me, because that's how deposits work, right? Wrong. From Trump Mobile terms and conditions, a deposit is not a purchase. It doesn't mean they accepted your order. It doesn't create a contract for sale. It doesn't even reserve you a phone. So what does your $100 get you? Well, it provides a conditional opportunity to buy the phone if Trump Mobile ever decides to sell one. Okay, so nothing. It gets you nothing. I'm paying $100 for the chance to maybe give you more money in the future if you decide to make the product that I'm paying for in the first place? What?
You know, it's been nearly a year since the announcement of this new wireless service called Trump Mobile. But so far, it seems like customers have been left on hold. Let me bring in our Brian Chung, who put down a deposit to track the phone's development. To be clear, you dropped that deposit on your corporate card, right, Brian?
That's right.
And you've been on the phone with customer service for Trump Mobile, right? What are they telling you? Is this phone coming out or not?
Well, look, it's been almost a year now that we've been waiting for this phone. It was announced by the president's sons in a flashy Trump Tower announcement in June of last year. They said that this gold phone, which had an American flag on the back bearing their father's name, was going to be released to customers in August at a price point of only $499. And that seemed almost too good to be true, especially when you consider...
Listen, people who purchased that phone, you probably won't get that. You probably won't get that. You'll be more lucky off going online and probably ordering an Android or an iPhone for the next version to come out before you get Trump phone. So I just want y'all to know that if you didn't know, that the people over there on the streets are really upset about not having their Trump wireless phones. They sent the money, they never got it. And it's a normal behavior for Trump. But of course, you know, you can show a person who you are over and over and over and over again. But for some reason with Trump, you know, they don't believe all of it. Sure don't. But yeah, I'm praying for y'all get y'all phones. So hope you're enjoying yourself. Let's get on to the last story because I have been here way longer than I expected. But I did want to make sure because I need stuff for later on too. So let's move on to this. Okay. So the last and final story. Now, what I should have did, I got distracted earlier. I got distracted. I was gonna clip out a part because what I did was the other day, I was covering this whole thing with Chud, and I had said, you know, as a gay man myself, I have my own experience. You can say what you want to say, but I said, Chud, that this is before Poetic Flacco broke the story. I had said, Chud loved it. I knew it. So anyway, Poetic Flacco was on his thing and whatever, and he started to break the story about this story that came out. Now, mind you, when I seen this story, I wasn't shocked about the story, but what's going to get you is that the woman that got involved in the story is some it. All right. So I'm gonna let him start this off. Hopefully, if we get a commercial, then we get a commercial. If we get one, we get one. Let's just see how it go.
Because the real him just got exposed. This 1 in a million chance occurrence that took place on Chud's live stream that has initiated his downfall is nothing but God. Look at God. Now, Chud ran across a black woman that apparently he slept with in the past. And she got straight to bootlicking. Oh, good white man, you not racist, white man. Oh, you treated me well, massa.
23, Nolan Road, Clarksville.
I don't really remember you, but you do look familiar.
Are you still in there, or you just checked out?
No, I'm Dalton. I've always been Dalton, but I am a Chud.
Right, but you're not my Dalton. You used to come to my house, I fed you.
Yeah, you were cool. I don't remember you that much, but I do remember I know you. See, we got roots. Hey, you scared me a little bit when you came up.
Get real.
You helped me when you were following Liver King. But before you were following Liver King, you used to sell me weed. I fed you before.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
Well, I healed your stomach by teaching you how to eat real food?
Yes. So that's
what was your name again?
I'm Lana, but that's
Lana.
Why I'm confused what happened to you. Because you're not racist. I know that. I fed you.
But so you believe in freedom of speech?
I do.
So I should be allowed to say right?
Right, but you
then that's the only point. That's it.
People don't have emotional intelligence. They can't.
Is that my fault?
But listen, you gotta be careful
Hola, mi amigo.
This video is made up of no heroes. It's all villains. Everybody in this story is a villain. She walked up to Chud and started, of course you can say the N-word. These black folks don't got no emotional intelligence and IQ, Chud. I'm one of the good ones. Right? She gets straight to the bootlicking. Now, afterwards, she got her wake-up call. She realized they don't respect anybody. I don't
Watch
care
this.
how much you think you're one of the good blacks. They don't respect you. And the Chud pages began to talk about her as if she was an absolute slur. They began to write captions like, Chud used to raw dog an ugly black woman. They went in on her. Do you understand how much of a despicable human being you have to be for one of these pink pill divestors to turn on you as a white man? There's almost nothing a white man can do to make one of these divestors turn. But she apparently turned on Chud after seeing the captions that Chud was posting, after seeing how they were talking about
You gotta
her.
be careful.
And she made a response video to
Check
Chud
this.
telling people that he raw dogged her at some point in their interaction.
He did.
What's up, y'all? Lily Venus here. Pretty the big. It's literally in my bio. I'm only bringing this up because Chud the Builder's cameraman put our conversation on Broadway on YouTube. Now millions of people know what I look like fresh off work, right? But in the caption it said that black woman who used to smoke mid and get raw dogged by Chud the Builder. Well, he's not lying. I already told y'all we used to smoke. He used to sell me weed. And we did raw dog. A lot. Me, him, and my ex-wife. I am a professional pegger. It is no secret that I perform prostate massages, if you will, for men. I've been doing it for a very long time now. Most of my clientele is white men. We sign NDA agreements. I talk about me pegging all the time, but I never tell you names because discretion is key. Confidentiality is why my client list is so long. But Chud mentioned it first. I think that he said it the way he said it because the white supremacists were probably like, ew, you used to hang out with a black girl, shame on you. So you had to make it sound good.
Now, Chud, you know you got no business, man. Throwing that booty meat back on the Jason Love 3500. You know you got no business, man. Sashaying back on that dildo. Chud, you know. You know you got no business doing that, man. Now, she told it all.
Yes, she
did. Told the business, man. So, Chud, before he was going around.
So, why he, so what gets me is this right here. I knew, don't get me wrong, it ain't about what you do, because honestly, I don't give a fuck about what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's your body. If you want to have pleasure for yourself. But for Chud, I said the other day, I said for Chud to be, like he went to the gas station over there with those men and he was, he got into it with the people, the black people, and he was, and for him to go to the hood with no drawers on, he was all riled up. Like a squirt puppy's head on. He was riled up, steamed up, pumped up, and he didn't have no drawers on. I said on my other chat, I said, you know what? Chud was over there looking for something more than
calling black people the N. Before he was going around telling liberal white men that their wives, were getting thrusted by BBCs. He had his own weird obsession with the BBC. Chud was moving with no decorum, no respect for himself.
That girl, basically, long story short, we're going to get into it, but the girl came back and said he was throwing that thing back in a circle. That's what she said, not us. That's what she said. Now, she said it. Now, I'm going to go skip to it, but she said this. If you want to go review the whole thing, go over to the 40 Flacco page.
Gym Monster 2.
And check out the entire clip of it. But he really broke this down. Check out this. That's what she
I'm
said.
an egregore too. Lily Venus, hi. Hail the great mother. So I am all about enlightenment, controversy, occultism, witchcraft, and of course, love. So me talking about this is what my brand is about. Let's expose it, bro. So yes, with a big.
It's blurred out so y'all can't see it. Take my word for it. That thing is massive, it's scary. And for this man to be throwing it back on something that massive and that scary on a nightly basis, he has to have his PhD in flexible boy activities. No. I apologize. Chud don't got the PhD
be all angry
that
too.
would say that Chud was a student.
Chud be all aggressive and angry too. Boy, I know he was riding that thing, baby.
Was a professor. Chud was a professor of a doctorate program in flexible boy activity. How does a man stick something like that up his dookie hole?
I have not Dalton since like 2015.
I hate him.
He was a little chubbier then. His cheeks used to clap in such like the cutest way. Now,
Chud, you know you got no business, man, doing something like this, sir. Now, you're about to figure out the harsh reality. The harsh reality here is bad people, such as your demographic or people who think you're cool and funny, all right, they love when you're racist, right? They hate black people, but you know who they hate more than black people? Flexible boys who engage in flexible activities, all right? That very same group of people is about to turn on you, man.
He is flexible.
he doesn't even have a little chubby butt no more, so I probably wouldn't him again. But I'm wondering, did you bring that up because you want to spin the block? Now, when I first he was a virgin, and I'm having a hunch that he probably hasn't been since me and my ex-wife. We can start small, buddy. I got you, but you don't have to cap. Like, if you're gonna say that, we say the whole truth, okay? Now, with that being said, why do I peg? Because it's a hustle and it helps me get through college. I'm still in college, but now I don't have a choice. I will forever be a top because I had a surgery 3 years ago. The doctor up and chopped my coochie off. You don't believe me? The link is in the bio. I have been this way my whole life. My ex-girlfriends can vouch for me. I am a top. I men and I women with my bisexual.
Ma'am.
And that's just that on that.
Ma'am, okay, listen. I can't take no more. I think there was enough graphic detail for all of us to hear. There was enough for all of us to hear. I'm so sorry that you had to hear that as well, but there was enough for all of us to hear. I don't think we need to hear anything else. But Chud, it speaks volumes of who you really are. And now I know why you so aggressive and you're so mad. You need to go to Pound Town. I get it. You know, you need to go to Pound Town. And for you, Pound Town might be important. Who knows? I see it at first, but Sis Flocko way bigger than me. But I've been knowing. I had always knew. I knew all along. Well, there you have it, people. Okay, the girls are fighting as usual. Okay, so you have you know, of course, you seen Erica, not Erica Kirk. I ain't gonna go. Candace, Nick. We got Candace, Nick. We got Trump phones, and we got Chud. We got James Charles. So yeah, go back and check all these little things out and see what's going on. I am unapologetic Tank, being unapologetic as I know how, and this platform is definitely being unapologetic today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, I appreciate it. If you would like to, you can hit like and subscribe and become a member. My shorts are the funniest because I pick out the most best shorts, you know, and try to, you know, reach out. You know, I love it. I love anything about that, animals, dogs. And then the video side, pretty much we covering all the things. And Tank Talk TV 2 is over there too. We want to go check that out. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hit like and subscribe, and may these stories garner some type of attention. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. All right, people. You have a great, awesome afternoon. Will I be back? Yes, I will. Who knows when? We will see.